day that I want, that day that I want. Another day then, maybe Tuesday. Can I spend a fortune? Cause I want to. I know it's appalling how I lose you. Spending every day that I want, that day that I want. What happened to me? Cause I just had a dream I was dead, and I only cared cause I was taken from you. You're the only thing that I own. I hear my bell ring, I'd only answer for you. I had prayed out loud and Lord, you answered me too early. I was too done starting out. Now I'm too scared that you might leave me. I feel like I'm still a child because I always cross my fingers. Now you're sitting in accounts cause I'm too scared to take you out. Now save me. Cause I just had a dream I was dead, and I only cared cause I was taken from you. You're the only thing that I own. I hear my bell ring, I'd
Welcome then as we take a step back into the nostalgic golden days of motorsport. Spa is unashamedly a throwback, and all the better for it. Climbs, drops, sharp turns, chicanes, sweeping high-speed corners, all while taking in some of the most beautiful scenery that Europe has to offer. This might sound like a travel brochure, but it's not. It's a race day. Welcome along to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high quality racing as well. Simply put it, there's no place quite like it. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Golden Boy lines up on pole position and Lando Norris lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Perez, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Tsunoda, Russell, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Joe, Magnussen, Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. We've heard all the rumours this week about this driver, and in the words of Joe Strummer, should I stay or should I go? And it seems, according to the rumours, they're staying.
Well, you know, they're being loyal to their team. They feel comfortable where they are, and they're building that team around them. There's a lot to be said for that. It's easy just to, well, not easy, but it's tempting to just to disappear off to a better team and leave all of that hard work behind you that you've put in place where you are now. But this driver wants to progress with the team. I think that's really nice to see.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. sprite is good, gearbox is responding normally. Make sure to warm up the tyres and brakes. Warm the tyres and brakes throughout the lap, please. Okay, radar is clear, weather is looking good for now. Decent parking. Let's try and get a good launch as the lights go out. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights. DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Here's some information on Tsunoda for you. Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal. They're retiring the car. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 5.1 seconds. that's P1. Charles is behind you now. Okay, a full lap separates you now. They're on fresh softs. Alright mate, that's 39 laps to go. Okay, mate, right, we've got some clear track in front of us, so let's make best use of it and make the next lap a quick one. You got this. mate. You made that look easy. Nice work. That's why I love working with you. Smashed it. Gap to your teammate behind, 8.9 seconds. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 18.6 seconds. Approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Okay, mate, we need to save some ERS, so let's use all the techniques you know about to charge it up. Great stuff, it looked like you made easy work of that target. Let's try and keep that going right through to the end of the race. Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon. Okay, we're boxing with this lap, give us the best in lap you can. Gap to your teammate behind, 22.7 seconds. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed. first position, front of the pack. That's Charles behind. You're separated by an entire lap. Okay, they're on old softs. Your pit window's now open. Pit window is open. And that's 23 laps to go. Charles is in the pits. The pit box is currently full. Stay out on track. Stay out. Understood. Stopping this lap. Okay, off we go, back into the race. Your late turn-in meant we had a slower than planned pit stop, I'm afraid. That was our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go. Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about. job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 24.8 seconds. Tyre condition still looking good. Let's use overtake and burn off some of this energy. 25.7 seconds. Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead. Okay, clear. Okay, mate, lap times are a little erratic at the moment. Let's try and close up the difference between them. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 29.4 seconds. teammate behind, 35.0 seconds. No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Overtake button more, it's time to utilise some of this energy, come on. Okay, really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean. concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay mate, this is the final lap of the race, final lap. Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
What a great race then, and a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix.
A great display of dominance today, Crofty, by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You better get up for the get it.
Wow, we are ready for the final lap, right, darling?
Yeah.
44 out of 44 in the 2024 season. We are going for 13. Out of
Final
14
lap.
victories. That will bring Michael Schumacher selector, darling.
Well,
My childhood hero.
your best season though.
Let's go through Eau Rouge, the most famous turn in F1. Look at this! What a speed! Come on! This is where Michael made his debut. This is where he started his F1 career. This is where he won his first race. This is also where he won his 7th title. Can we make it, Angel?
Sure, definitely. You can make it.
A display of amazing speed, right?
And also is the fastest lap.
Yes. And absolutely fantastic. Driving right on the limit, but totally controlled, right?
Yeah.
No mistakes at all. Great weather. This is Wuhan. Here is where we crashed last year. No such shenanigans this year, right? So amazing, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy this Spa-Francorchamps chance with us. We are catching drivers which are 1 lap down. We are 44 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc, our teammate, our illustrious teammate, on lap 44. This is it, darling.
Yeah.
The record will be broken by our disqualified champion, the bus stop chicane. Nice. This braking was amazing. And this is it, darling. This is it. This is it. This is it.
Well, you got it.
Come on, Jan.
Congratulations.
We got it. 13 out of 14, Angel. Wow, what a great victory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did an amazing job right over here. You know, from start to finish, right? We were right on it, right, guys?
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. In our
Whoa.
favorite for 2024, right, Angel?
Yes.
Who is the champion?
Young is champion.
Got
Woo,
it.
woo,
Wow, what a great
woo.
win. It was totally controlled from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
Soft tires, medium tires, you know, red and obviously, you know, yellow tires. No problems at all, you know. We could control it. We were about 1 second faster. What a great lap, faster than F1 drivers. Let's go!
Yeah.
This
Congratulations.
is also where Michael won his most victories. This is my third win here.
Yeah.
Forza Ferrari, this is a great 1-2 right for us.
Yeah. One, the second.
Okay, let's celebrate! Let's celebrate! Let's celebrate! Woohoo! Let's go! What a great win, darling! What do you think?
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yes,
You
okay.
did a great job.
Right? And it's safe too, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic! So yeah, how did you like it, darling?
Oh, very smooth. Yeah, your driving
Yes.
way is best. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, absolutely amazing, right?
Nobody can catch you. Huh?
Wild weekend, that's right. We were flying around Spa-Francorchamps over here, right?
Yeah.
You know, first 14 races, 13 wins. That's never happened in a Formula 1 season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so happy. You can see our fastest lap was about 1.5 seconds faster, for example. You know, so yeah, overall, I did a fantastic job, right? You
Yeah.
know, it went even better than I expected, right? I said, okay, last time when we did Hungary, you know, we survived by the skin of our teeth, right, to the record. So, you know, I had, you know, some worries, but we were perfect practice, perfect qualifying, especially that qualifying, you know. when we planted on pole position, right? When nobody could improve but us. That was a lap of a champion, and this was a drive of a champion. Just like Michael Schumacher, we can dedicate it to him, right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is the closest to his home, and obviously our third win over here, right? For the first time, we actually started from pole position and we controlled it, right? How amazing, right, Darling?
Yeah, great, Lo.
Yeah, and you know, changing that strategy, right? Because in Great Britain, you know, I did a medium soft, right? So I switched it here to match the drivers, and you know, had no troubles at the beginning.
Yeah.
Pull away. Angela, thank you so much. You have witnessed one of the greatest records in Formula 1 history.
Congratulations, the best driver.
Thank you, Angel. I love you.
Love
Forza
you.
Ferrari. Let's go, Jan Smalling, Sun Champion, Ferrari's fastest driver. Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the home of Jan, the Smalling Sun Champion, and Ferrari's biggest fan, and of course, Ferrari's fastest driver, as it is now official, as obviously my angel Amy recorded the last lap, the 44th lap of the 44 lap race, the Belgian Grand Prix. I have now won the 13 out of the first 14 races on this amazing 2024 Formula 1 calendar with this excellent SF1000T Advantage Formula 1 Racing Simulator, and I'm absolutely over the moon as I surpass my childhood hero Michael Schumacher's record, obviously at the track that, you know, held so much significance, as I was saying, you know, as I was basically, you know, lapping here almost 50 seconds ahead of my illustrious teammate and the reigning in-game world champion, Charles Leclerc, and almost 1 minute of everybody else. You know, this is the race when Michael Schumacher made his debut. This is the scene of his first victory, and where he celebrated the 7th record-breaking world title. Will also be celebrating the 4th Formula 1 title for Scuderia Ferrari. Because obviously I'm putting in such amazing performances, and here this was just a beautification really of racing and driving a Formula 1 car, because you know, I topped obviously all of the practices, practice 1, practice 2, practice 3, all of the qualifying, so qualifying 1, qualifying 3, and I placed it of course on a pole position. As a result, I led every single lap, set the fastest lap time that was almost 2 seconds quicker than anybody else, and because I led every lap of the race, as I said, that would be my 3rd Formula 1 Grand Prix Grand Slam this season. So absolutely dominant after Great Britain and after Bahrain Grand Prix, and you know, I just cannot wait to lift that Formula 1 Grand Prix winner trophy, get that medal on myself, on my beautiful fashion, and celebrate its amazing achievement. So yeah, we will tell you everything about this magnificent race. You know, it's one of the shortest races, even though this is by far the longest lap on the Formula 1 calendar. Surprisingly, of course, it is not, because you know, you always have to go very fast through many of the turns, and you know, this is a track where when I was in high school, you know, I lived very close to Spa-Francorchamps, so you know, during my formative years, you know, this would be one of the tracks that you know, we would often be very close related to. So I definitely, you know, also had a very special connection, and to break it at Spa-Francorchamps, you know, that's absolutely amazing. And just like Michael Schumacher, it's only the Monaco I haven't won, so such a perfect start to the season. You know, there's no better way to really celebrate the happy summer vacation. I'm sure you all wanna jump into the swimming pool, you all wanna go into the Torcal Sea. That's exactly what I wanna be doing, because you know, I just had such an amazing season, totally deserved you know, victory over here. I thought we did a great job, especially, you know, the way we set up the car, and you know, the way we played the strategy. So in this exclusive race reaction, we will tell you everything about it. We will also obviously take a look at the strategy, how it happened. We will take a look at the race highlights, even though these are one of the shortest highlights, because I just disappeared into the distance, and I was increasing that lead by a rate of 1 second per lap. And obviously, you know, yeah, I met all of the objectives that the engineers have given me, and I try really hard to make sure, because Charles Leclerc, he was running identical strategy to me, so you know, I just had that almost that 1 pit stop, so I had to wait for him to stop. Otherwise, you know, I could have optimized the strategy by stopping maybe 2 or 3 laps earlier. But yeah, in the end, you know, as we will see from the drivers and Constructors Championship, this will give us so much you know, confidence, and especially so many points, you know, that we can now see, you know, really the celebration of the Formula 1 world title. You know, the writing is on the wall. You know, I will be the 4-time world champion. unless obviously my phone drastically drops, and we already probably know that maybe it won't be that long before there's another longer break that might happen. So we will tell you everything about it. Then we will also take a look at our drivers rating, but only after we celebrate here with the Formula 1 Grand Prix winner trophy, and also here with this beautiful obviously winner's medal. So for the race, as I said, I did really well. You've seen that qualifying 3, which obviously wasn't the fastest because it was raining, but I could tell that even in the rain we are well planted. The car is responding well, so no matter what conditions we were gonna be very, very competitive. And you can see beautiful sunny day, blue skies, which doesn't happen very often in this part of the world, very close there to the Canal La Manche, right? Belgium, Holland, these are mostly rainy countries, but I was so happy that we've gotten this great weather right in the middle of the super hot Olympic summer, as obviously the Olympic Games have started, and the Olympic Games, you can see it on my YouTube channel. Obviously, there was a huge rain even in Paris for that opening ceremony, so then to go to the Belgium Grand Prix and have such a great weather, it's just so memorable, because that's exactly how it should be for the Olympics, which are happening basically just down the road, right? Just 3-hour drive from the circuit to, for example, Paris and the Eiffel Tower where we were located. So over here. So how did I get this Formula 1 Grand Prix winner trophy? So it was relatively straightforward, I have to say. I decided to go for the soft tires, and then I would switch to the mediums, and we tried to go almost half of the distance, so that would be good. We put in 1 lap worth of fuel more, and actually we finished with 1.06, which means that we could have even underfueled the car a little bit, and we had such an advantage, which again would make would lower the center of the mass. It would give us some advantage in terms of the optimal pure speed, but I always prefer to have a bit more fuel, because you definitely don't want to run out of it, and if you have to go for extreme fuel saving, that would be very, very costly. And I've gotten a pretty good start. I believe that Norris or Leclerc, they've gotten very, very close to me, but I had pretty much that last horse, covered us. Obviously, I was pretty much perfect, had an ideal line, through the corner, and then, I engaged all of the battery. I was going through the Eau Rouge. You will see the detail, what a perfect line I had, and that was really important, because immediately, by, when we've gotten to like Pujon and Stubble, I was already 1 second ahead. So when the DRS was then enabled for the next lap, I didn't need to worry about obviously my teammate Leclerc, for example, always having dead helping hand, which could have hampered us a little bit, to be honest. And usually once you are outside of the DRS range, you are able to increase the gap pretty quickly, and that's my biggest fan. So it was always by at least a second a lap. We also did a bit of a fuel saving. And then we pretty much waited, and obviously some guys like Verstappen, because they started from the 9th place, so that they were running the alternate strategy. I believe starting on a medium, going to the soft is also possible, but obviously it would leave me quite vulnerable at the start. So I didn't want to have the repeat of the Great Britain, when for the first 3 or 5 laps I had to defend quite hard, because that could basically spread throughout the whole first stint, and it could put your otherwise dominant victory in danger. So great work with the strategy, even though it's not usually my preferred strategy. And then once we got into about lap 16, 18, obviously the pit window has opened, but then I was just waiting for Leclerc, because he was always within 20, 22, 24 seconds, and the last thing I wanted to do was to stop and emerge right behind him or right in front of him and had a fight with him. So once he stopped at the end of lap 21, right in the middle of the distance, which was actually perfect time to stop, I switched for the new boots, right? Gave that the softer reds, away, and put on the yellow medium tires on, and I then basically had the tire advantage over every other driver, because the track is so long. About 7 kilometers. So of course that also means that once you change the tires, right? The one lap is sometimes 2 times. It's like if you would do 2 laps at the regular circuit, like let's say for example at the Hungary, right? So as a result, obviously if the guy started stopping around lap 16, 18, we stopped pretty much 4-6 laps later. That's almost stopping 10 laps later. So we were then easily able to set the fastest lap time in the end, 1:46.200. Great fastest lap time, still 3 seconds slower than in qualifying, but that absolutely destroyed the best lap time of pretty much anybody else, because it was a miracle for them to do, for example, 1:48, 1 minute 48 seconds. So as a result, I had the race completely under control. It was interesting that when I emerged from the pits, I was ahead of Norris, and I was only leading by 15 seconds. So I was like, where did my 10 seconds go? And this is a recurring theme in the F124, that obviously we usually do not gain much of the time during the pit stops, but usually lose some. But yeah, Norris, he didn't stop, so that again freed up Leclerc to take that very preferred and very popular second spot behind me, and we then pretty much led it, because some drivers, they actually went for a two-stop strategy, which I do believe is not exactly maybe the right way to go, but again, why not? Maybe you can try it, but again, since you only have 44 laps, usually you want to do the one stop over here, since again, you won't have that many laps to make it up, right? So in the end, we then pretty much, once Norris stopped with about 14, 15, I believe, laps to go, me and Charles, just drove it home for a very memorable and very, very popular over here Ferrari 1-2, right? Exactly. So yeah, you can see I'm celebrating with joy as I will go on this podium. I hope you guys can just see it above this beautiful SF1000 Scuderia Ferrari Formula 1 racing wheel. This is where I will be collecting that Formula 1 trophy. So yeah, let me show it to you over here. Yeah, let's take a look at the race highlights, how exactly it went. So yeah, you could obviously see it right from my Angel Amy's perspective. I do believe she obviously greatly enjoyed it. I mean, who wouldn't? And yeah, okay, well, this is not where we wanted to go, so let's take a look. Okay, if we can. So these would be the race highlights. One of the shortest race highlights that you can have, because obviously I dominated the race, and yeah, it feels so great, but the only trouble is, the pit stops and obviously overtaking the back marker. So I'm starting on pole position. Let's go! The record breaking. So obviously, I was, again, completely locked in. Yeah, here I did look up. You can see Leclerc. He came very, very close. But yeah, this was perfect. I've taken the tighter line. He has taken obviously the wider line, and we were able to cover off Norris and Perez. And then here, run up. This is the Eau Rouge. Wow! Forza Ferrari! So you can see, just going through, it looks absolutely magnificent over here. Yeah, and this is down the Camel Straight. It looks beautiful in the sunshine, and yeah, we are already leading. So yeah, you can see that we will just be able to increase, the gap, and then get to the finishing line to win. Yes, so absolutely great victory, and yeah, so well deserved, so here, what exactly does it mean? Here for the driver standings, so you can see the driver standings right up here. Yeah, so we can see that Jan Luksha is leading for Scuderia Ferrari with 356 points, having a healthy lead of 125 points over second place Lando Norris, McLaren 231 points. Third is then Max Verstappen, Red Bull 213 points, and for my illustrious teammate Charles Leclerc, Scuderia Ferrari 167 points. That's obviously great news for Leclerc, because it looks like he will be finishing fourth, as I will be collecting the fourth World Championship. Fifth, Oscar Piastri, then McLaren 142 points. Sixth is then Fernando Alonso, Aston Martin 105 points. Seventh, George Russell, Mercedes-AMG Petronas 98 points. Eighth is now Sergio Perez, Red Bull 81 points. He's 1 point ahead of ninth place Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes-AMG Petronas, who will be making the way to Scuderia Ferrari to be my teammate. He's on 80 points. 10 is Alexander Albon, Williams 21 points, even though some guys like, for example, Stroll will want to say something about that. So over here, from the lead, you can see that we basically have such an amazing lead that the next 4 races are not the sprint races, so you can get 26 points for a victory. So for sure we will be leading after we finish the Singapore, so already going into the final 4th of the season, the final 6 races, we will be leading the championship. So this is amazing. And yeah, here if we can take a look at yes, over here, the Constructors' Championship. So Scuderia Ferrari leading with 523 points. We have a fantastic, massive lead of 150 points over second place McLaren. They have 373 points. Third is Red Bull, 294 points. Fourth, Mercedes-AMG Petronas, 178 points. Then we have fifth, Aston Martin, 120 points. Sixth is Williams, 21 points. Seventh, Alpine, 15 points. Eight is obviously Visa Cash App RB with 6 points. 9 has 4 points. 10 kicks over 1 point. Nothing changed. Obviously, they're at the bottom, but here we've completely dominated over here, gotten full points, you know, to have a Ferrari one to really makes up for races like the Monaco Grand Prix, for example, and it's so wonderful, right? You know, when you can score 44 points, and it also means that by leading 150 points, so there are 44 points on offer heading into Singapore, we will for sure be leading the Constructors' Championship, and after Singapore, there are only 6 races to go, which means the final fourth of the season, so it's looking absolutely magnificent over here. But what's looking even more magnificent is winning, so let's take a look at it over here. Let's enjoy Forza Ferrari! We got it! We got it! Jan Luksha is the new record holder!
That's just fantastic, amazing, you deserve that
Yes,
race win.
of course. What an amazing race win. You know, I just wish I could have gone, you know, obviously around the whole circuit to celebrate with all the fans, because this is such an achievement, and yeah, I will actually get to do that at least in the game. Matching fashion, exactly matching ball fashion. Oh yeah, Forza Ferrari. Who's the winner? Forza Ferrari. Yes, Jan Luksha. Let's celebrate. Come on, let's go for it, Jan. Yes, Forza Ferrari. I love racing. And it also means, of course, that we will get our medal over here, our winning medal. So let's go for it. It looks great, doesn't it? And you guys, this is the trophy we competed for. Yeah! Wow! Yes, we got it! This is the Formula 1 Grand Prix with a trophy! This is the best start to the Formula 1 season! Forza Ferrari! Let's go, Jan! Forza Ferrari! We are the best! We are the winners! Oh yeah! La 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 la. Yes. Wow, it looks so amazing, right? And yeah, I really love the celebration. I mean, you could already tell, right? You know, when the race finished, you know, just how proud we were. So, yeah, absolutely amazing, you know, to be collecting my third victory here at Spa-Francorchamps. You know, obviously only second pole position, but, you know, the fourth fastest lap. So, you know, the fastest laps are really critical. So you might be wondering, so why exactly, what is the secret of my success, right? So actually, it is not really, you know, the qualifying, for example, or, you know, most of the times, you know, the strategy is really having the fastest lap, right? Because that allows you to pretty much any track bar Monaco to have the enough pace, enough of, for example, either the tire offset, but simply the raw speed to be able, you know, to close up to your competitors, to overtake them. Because if you hold, you know, the few tenths or even obviously, you know, up to a second with the DRS, that can become over a second. Usually the delta for overtaking is about 1.5 seconds. It means if you that much quicker, it's usually, you know, you're gonna have opportunities to overtake. And this is really the key to the success. So I'm so happy, you know, yeah, it's absolutely a dream come true. And yeah, no wonder then that my driver's rating looks so good. So let's take a look at it. So this is my driver's rating. You can see how it looks like. So my experience now stayed at 67. Obviously it will be a bit more difficult, you know, to improve it as we go higher and higher, but the racecraft went to 74. You know, we executed the race perfectly. I was so happy with that. Awareness at 72, you know, if I can smile a little bit. And awareness actually, you know, here it was great because I didn't, you know, touch with any, for example, you know, the driver or anything. So, you know, as a result, yeah, that awareness, obviously, you know, that's, we've gotten lots of points there, but where we've really gotten lots of points is the pace, right? So the pace obviously being over here at 80, you know, actually, you know, just, you know, I've met all of the objectives that my engineer has given me, and yeah, focus stays at 68, or improves to 68, so, you know, we really knew what the objective was, and overall rating 76, almost 77, man. I mean, it should have really been 77. You know, what a pity that obviously maybe we had some botched, you know, Grand Prix like in Monaco or the Miami Sprint, because 77 right? Car number 7 winning at the track when Michael Schumacher won the 7th race, the 7th Formula 1 world title. Hey, it wouldn't get any better than that, would it? So yeah, this is how it looks like, and yeah, I already rejected all of the teams, so yeah, I will stay with Scuderia Ferrari, of course, and chasing the titles forever. Oh yay! So you guys, I'm absolutely over the moon. I would also like to wish you to have a really beautiful, really enjoyable summer season, because you know the summer is coming. Definitely enjoy it with your family, with your biggest fans. You know, I definitely would like to thank my biggest fans, especially Angel Amy, to again powering me, you know, to have this amazing season. Obviously, you know, last season we maybe struggled a little bit, especially at the beginning, but now we are winning like champions, having so much pace, and it's so much fun to drive. It is beautiful SF1000T 818 Formula 1 racing simulator. And yeah, after you guys jump in all the swimming pools and obviously enjoying all the turquoise beautiful sea wherever you might be, in Hawaii, in the Bahamas, for example, in the Maldives, or out there in Bora Bora, or anywhere that you are, you know, enjoy the sunshine. You know, again, you know, you never know how many more summers there can be, and yeah, we will come back refreshed for the final 10 races of the Formula 1 season, the record-breaking 2024-2024 Olympic season. Obviously, you know, also we will now go to the Olympics, so you know, definitely enjoy, you know, the scenery there. And yes, I'm pretty sure, you know, there will be so many golden medals, you know, to win. So enjoy this special summer. And yes, we will then see you in 3 weeks. We're not so far away here from the Spa-Francorchamps shops for the round 15. But before we do that, let's enjoy the record breaking. Couldn't have happened at better time. Exact 20 years on from the time Michael Schumacher dominated Formula 1. And of course, it happens when the Paris Olympics are around, and at the track that's the closest to Paris. Let's go, let's go. This was Jan, the Smiling Sun champion. And now,